Cowboys. Oh, we're here to talk about the Washington Redskins and the upheaval with the team. This is going to be the first ever live Hertz House. Y'all are a little bit early, so tell a friend to tell a friend that it's them again. If you want, come on down to Martinis Lounge, Fort Washington, Maryland, 825 Katy Drive, right? 725 Katy Drive.
First time.
That's cool. I'll get it right. 725 Katy Drive, Fort Washington, Maryland. Super easy to get to. Lots of lounge chairs for you to hang out. There's music on the other side. They're having a game night tonight. If y'all want to get running spades, you can. But come on out. Support your local businesses.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight, Hurt.
Oh, man.
It's a lot to talk about.
A lot.
I hope you guys are tuning in, checking out the Facebook live feed that I got up. You can come, any questions, comments, concerns. We know there's a lot of concerns in Redskins Nation right now, but you're actually going to get part of CP3 that I'm actually going to have opinions about this team tonight. Because, on Sports on the Hill.
Hold up. We're going live.
Going live. All right, we about to go live, people. Tune in. It's about to get real.
Oh, I'm late with it.
Oh.
And I missed the button. What's going on, DC, Maryland, Virginia? Everybody listening nationwide, everyone listening worldwide, welcome to the Hertz House podcast. No need for these because we're not taking calls tonight. But for those of you who are listening on Blog Talk Radio, it's going to sound a little different because we are in a live location. We are at Martinis Lounge and Bar, 725 Katy Drive, Fort Washington, Maryland. I'm not going to pretend to know the zip code, just like I'm not going to pretend to know what goes through the minds of Redskins brass. We got a lot to talk about. And you all know my MO. I get on here, I talk about all the mistakes that Jay Gruden makes. But now everyone's doing that. Stephen A. Smith, Holman, Feinstein, everybody's talking about Jay Gruden should be fired. Even the Jay defenders that are my buddies on Facebook and in Redskins groups have fallen back because they know that Jay Gruden is inept. And that goes for everything from benching Alfred Morris.
Wow, we went
way back. For those of you who don't know, I was talking to CP3 earlier about when Jay Gruden benched Alfred Morris for taking a selfie with RG3, and it hurt us. He played fumble and rob, and it hurt us. So Jay showed back then that he would hurt team to appease his ego. He showed it even more last year when he cut DJ Swearinger. Defense looks different, doesn't it? He cut DJ Swearinger. And we haven't looked the same since. And now, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because AP is cool with Trent Williams. I don't know if it's because AP took Ryan's space, a guy that Jay Gruden really liked. But Jay Gruden does not like AP. He doesn't give him more than 10 carries a game. That's not a recipe for success, as we all know. You can't win the game running the ball 11 times. You have a lot of people who will look at the stats and say, well, he didn't really do anything. And those are the people who don't understand that you have to get going to get going. The running game is not about breaking a 90-yard run in the second quarter. That's something that we know AP can do. It's about wearing the defense down, the opponent's defense down. It's about letting your defense rest. It's about setting a tone. It's about making your play action more believable. That's what running the ball gets you with any football team. But Jay Gruden doesn't want to do that, and he likes to break people's spirit. You see him do things like run sweeps with Adrian Peterson, and on the goal line, take your scat back and run him up the middle 2 times in a row, just as a big middle finger to Adrian Peterson. But my issue isn't with Jay Gruden this week, and I haven't told anybody that. My issue is not with Jay Gruden. My issue is with Bruce Allen. Bruce Allen is a coward, and I'm going to tell you why Bruce Allen is a coward. Everybody knows that Jay Gruden is not a coach for this team. Everybody knows that Kevin O'Connell will be the coach of this team in 2 weeks. Everyone knows it. But he is a coward for letting Jay Gruden go 0-3, possibly 0-4 against the Giants, and definitely at the very best 1-4 against the New England Patriots before he fires him. If you already know you're going to fire him now and let the next coach take those 2 losses. Because the next coach is taking those 2 losses too. Make no mistake. Now, with the new coach, any new coach, Kevin O'Connell, Rob Ryan, Bill Callahan, whoever you want to pull out, Robbie Gross, whoever you want to pull out to be the new coach of the Washington Redskins is going to do better against Miami. They're going to do better against Detroit. They're going to do better against Green Bay than Jay Gruden. They're going to do things different because let me tell you what, nothing can get worse. The Jay defenders are falling back and say know this. But right now, my issue's not with Jay because Jay's going to Jay. Jay's going to bench his stars. He's going to play his bums. He's going to pass when he should run. He's going to run when he should pass. He's going to say blue when he should go up. That's what Jay Gruden is going to do. And Bruce Allen knows it, and Bruce Allen didn't have the courage to fire him before the Giants game or before the New England game. They're going to fire him after the New England game. Fired week 5, is still in full effect, but that's cowardly. That's all I got for right now.
I didn't look at it that way, but that is a very valid point because the ironic thing was when I did my post game, I said if the breaking news comes through at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to go Facebook Live that Jay Gruden gets fired. I actually had a dream that he got fired. I woke up and checked the wire, and it wasn't true. I was upset. It was just a dream. But the ineptitude is the perfect word. What we saw Monday night on both sides of the ball, like I said, I can pile on Jay. I wrote the article last week. You can check it out on my page. But Greg Manusky, I'm scratching my head because I'm trying to figure out why are the DBs playing 5 yards off. That's why Trubisky got into a little groove because he was taking 3-step drops, which negates the pass rush, and your corners are playing 5 yards off, so you're basically just doing pitch and catch. You saw his average pass was, 3.6 yards, but you're at 2nd and 5. Then you're at 3rd and 1. You're ahead of the chains. You're moving the chains. You're giving your team momentum. Those are things that Jay sees on the opposite sideline week in and week out, but yet and still the light doesn't come on because I don't think there's a fuse box up there anymore because you can't blame the defense or the defense didn't do this and defense didn't do that, but you see week in and week out, the first half, the defense stops the run. Second half, he gets 3 and outs. The defense gets worn down because the other team continues to run the ball. What does Jay see? Oh, we're not getting yards on run, so I'm going to just start pass. When you constantly see your defense getting beat down every week with the same recipe, and then you have the nerve to go to the press conference and complain about it, but you don't have the smarts to implement it in your own offense. This offensive line is built to run the ball. We've gone over pass blocking and run blocking. Run blocking is our offensive lineman's friend. Pass blocking is a retreat. When you first whistle blow, you got to take a step back and engage. So you're already giving a defender, he's getting off the ball. The offensive lineman is already in retreat mode. That wears down the offensive line. So when it is time to run the ball, they don't have any strength because they've been fighting all day in the trenches because you got defenders putting their ears back like Khalil Mack in the Chicago Bears defensive front. And, then you can't run the ball. Then he has that built-in excuse, we weren't getting yards and we were behind, so we had to throw the ball. The game was tied last week at 7-7, and you decided to go pass. So once I knew it went down 14, I was like, there go the running game out the window. And as we say, Adrian Peterson gets going, the more carries he gets. We saw that last year. So, like you said, his arrogance and ego and his willingness to make a point at the sacrifice of the team, I agree with you. I didn't even label Bruce Allen, even think about it. But, yeah, he should have came out and fired that man after Monday night. He shouldn't even have been able to do the press conference, and Bruce Allen should have been at the press conference and said he relieved Jay of his duties.
And people are still going to bash him for it. Like, did Bruce Allen fire Jay Gruden? Like, Bruce Allen's going to get blamed for anything he does, as is Dan Snyder, because no matter what, all this losing happened under them. Yeah. Even though I've always said Dan does everything people ask him. They say stop meddling, he stops meddling. Mm-hmm. They say get a GM, he brought a GM in. He said get hands off, let your football people do the football stuff. He does. And every year the team gets better. We drafted better players. There's no one out there that can't say we haven't upgraded at quarterback and receivers. Period. That's done. The narrative is over. They fixed all Scotch's mistakes. I call them Scotch. Scotch. Because it's like he drinks. Get it? Scotch. Get
Scotch. That's nice.
They fixed his mistakes. And this team is better. This team is better. And That's all I got, man. Jay Gruden needs to go. There are a few other things I want to talk about. Anything else you want to say before we talk about what else needs to happen?
I guess I'm still scratching my head about the Trent situation.
You know, I don't really know what's happening with the Trent situation. And I'm going to say this, all right? I have heard things about the Trent situation, but what I'm about to say does not come from what I've heard. It comes from my assessments, knowing the timeline of events. I've said before and I'll say again, Trent is waiting for Jay to get fired. That's it. And I base that on this. This holdout with Trent didn't start at the end of last season. It didn't start at the beginning of free agency. It didn't start at the draft. It started at the beginning of training camp. Sure, he had an issue with the medical staff. The medical staff misdiagnosed a fatty tissue on his head, and it ended up being cancerous. Luckily, not malignant, benign. But they misdiagnosed it, and mistakes happen. But it's worse when you're the Redskins training staff and you have guys who said they've missed concussions and that phantom Robert Griffin concussion, and Devin Thomas's foot was never the same, and Sua Cravens never got his mind back. Oh, what's going on?
This is my feed. You should be good. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Buddy.
Oh, no. It came up on yours, too?
Yep, came up on mine. I'm going
to continue.
You know what? You know what's great about that is?
What's that?
We're still on the air because the show didn't stop. It's still recording. It's still going.
Cool.
You should still be able to hear us.
We have technical difficulties now and then, folks. You know how it is with technology. It's a beautiful thing, but sometimes it's a headache.
Yeah, no doubt. So, this all started the day that Jay Gruden said, they said, Jay, where's Trent? He goes, he's having a procedure on the scalp. And he kind of laughed it off like someone said he made a hairline joke. I didn't hear that. But that was the day it started. It started with one of Jay's little jabs where he takes little shots at the players. And we all know that Jay does this. Mm-hmm. Jay takes shots at the players. And that is what it is. So,
got folks agreeing. They say they agree with you with the Trent situation.
Yeah. The feed is definitely messed up on the show. The show definitely missed it. They definitely got a bunch of dead air. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna have to like splice the show together and repost it before I put it on iTunes.
All right.
This is a work in progress. So now we're back on. So now if they're still listening to the network, they're still hearing it.
Cool.
But I don't know how long that dead air was. So hopefully we'll fix that. Anyway.
We'll get it covered.
Vince McMahon says when you're live, nothing can go wrong. So this is when it all started with Trent Williams. It started with Jay Gruden. So I believe that Trent is sitting back, waiting for Jay to be fired. Do not be surprised if the day Jay gets fired, Trent comes moseying on back in. If Trent doesn't come back, or if he decides he's not coming back at all, it might be because he gets the word that Jay Gruden's here for the rest of the season, and I cannot see it, especially if we go 0-5. Now, here's the problem. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win on Sunday.
Really?
I said that last week, too. Really? Last week I said we were going to win because Trubisky didn't have what it took to beat us. This week, I think it's possible we win because, see, like whoever's coming in, I can't see who that is. Is that my mother?
That might be your mom.
Is that Mama Hurt?
I think that's your mom.
I can't see who it is. Ma, is that you? Oh, she's not going to say anything. That's fine. There's a light, so I can't see. Is that you, though? Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, my mom's here. That's cool. But,
Mom's in the building.
Mom's in the building. Ma, you remember Mustafa, right? All right, so anyway, sorry, my mom came in and it just
threw everything
off.
Talking about Trent and Jay and with him not coming back if he thinks
that Jay's going to stay, he's not going to come back. But I don't see how we can do that. I think we can beat the Giants. I said that we were going to beat the Chicago Bears because Mitch Trubisky didn't have the arm to beat us. But, man, we found a way, and We'll get to Josh Norman in a little bit. Another guy that I've been protecting for years. We'll get to Josh Norman in a little bit.
I gotta defend him. I gotta defend him a little bit on it.
I can't defend him anymore. And you know why I can't defend him? The second I stopped defending Josh Norman was when he got toasted for the touchdown, and he went like this as if he stopped it. I said, I'm done. That's it. Because number one, that's a touchdown. Number two, you didn't do my mother's here, so I can't say what I want to say. You didn't do anything to stop that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yo, I'm done with it. I said, this is a touchdown. I'm done with Josh Norman. And the problem is, Redskins fans, the wrestling term is work yourself into a shoot. That basically means if you say something long enough, it becomes true. So for so long, he's been our best cornerback, and it's been, oh, man, he's trash, he's bad, because he gets burnt once in a while. Because he's not good with man-to-man, he's good in zone, and this coaching staff doesn't use him for what he's good for. But he was good for so long. You saw what he did to Odell Beckham. I got the video on my memories right now of Odell Beckham punching a soccer net because he was frustrated that Josh Norman was knocking him down. Are we going to pretend that didn't happen? Because it happened. But now he's talking and he's getting torched. And you can't do both. You can't talk trash to Dak Prescott and say, I'm not impressed, and then get torched by a nobody. When he got torched by Deshaun Jackson, I let that rock. I'm like, it's Deshaun Jackson. When he got torched by, what's his name?
Which one?
Exactly. That's when I was like, yo, this could be a problem. But when he got torched by Gabriel and Mitch Trubisky, and he jumped up and went like this, that was it for me. So, Josh, I love you. I appreciate everything you've done for the Redskins organization. I appreciate it more than most fans. But, yo, I'm moving on from it. I'm not saying cut him, trade him, or nothing like that, because Josh Norman had something to say about DJ Swearinger being gone also. He said, now that some of the noise is out, I'm like, dude, I hope you're not saying because some of the accountability is out. And that's what it looks like.
The only reason I can still give Josh a little bit of leeway is because of the safety play of Nicholson has left him out there in a position where he shouldn't have been one-on-one against these speedy guys. So I'm not saying that that play against Gabriel, I still say that wasn't a touchdown because his first foot hit and you clearly see the ball comes out of his hands, and then once that happens, that first foot doesn't count. So when his second foot hit, that was not the second foot. That was the first foot. But it happened. It is what it is.
I saw what you saw.
Yeah,
too.
I saw it, and folks were like, no, he caught it. He didn't bobble. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he padded the ball. He padded the ball. So that's why I thought it wasn't a touchdown.
I was the same way.
He padded the ball.
But Josh, he's never been a speed guy. He's never been that burner. He's been out there with his tenacity, and his aggressiveness was always a benefit to the team. Last year, we saw Quentin Dunbar before he got hurt. A lot of folks were saying he was the best corner on the team, which I didn't have a problem with because we know when Josh starts hearing stuff like that, he steps his game up.
Big facts.
I don't know if he has it in him with this vanilla defense and the way they're playing that he has it in him to take it to that next level. You know, I know they made the joke about, running with the Bulls and stuff, but, I mean, he's not that same dude, and we can't expect him to be who he was anymore, especially, as you said, they're not using him properly. So I'm not taking the blame off of him. He got toasted. Boom. But you gotta put some on the coaches also because
of course.
The Minuski, I'm with Rob Ryan on the staff, he was known for creativity, blitzes from all over the place. We're seeing the same things with Kerrigan on the right side and Sweat on the left side. Why we don't see them over the guard? Why we don't see them over the center? That's what the elite pass rushers do. That's what they excel at because you cause confusion on the offensive line. But we see none of that. Just the simplest things like that can help. A stunt, a twist, something. But you see the same 4-man, sometimes 5-man rush. But then when they do blitz, something good happens, and then you don't see it again for another quarter. So I don't know what's going on with this coaching staff. I don't know if the legalization of weed, they all smoking before they make the game plan. I don't know what it is.
We'll find out 5 years after they retire. After they retire, they'll start telling us.
I don't know what it is.
You're Clinton Portis, right? Clinton Portis told some stories.
Oh, really? I missed that. Oh, wow.
I'm not going to snitch on Clinton Portis.
We'll talk about that offline.
All I can say is he was wild before game nights. That's all I can say.
Oh, wow. We'll talk about that offline.
Yeah. So, yeah, Josh Norman, Maybe it wasn't a touchdown. Maybe if it was any team besides the Redskins, it wouldn't have been a touchdown. But it looked to me like he padded the ball. Yeah. But for me, that was besides the point. For me, it was the no, as if you did something to stop it. Now, with that said, he gave us an interception that gave us a chance to come back. And we fumbled that away. There was some questionable play calling on that drive, but we were moving.
They were moving the ball. They were moving the ball.
So Case Keenum thinking that he was on the goal line.
That was the
I'm like, that's a first down. Where they run the ball back for? And my roommate was like, yo, dude, it's not the goal line. It's not a touchdown. I'm like, forward progress. He's like, no, fumble progress. I'm like,
I don't know what the hell Case was thinking, man. And then what was Jay thinking? Okay, now I'm not even going to lie. I did want him to call a quarterback sneak early in that drive when it was 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. They had a little bit of momentum. But like I say, with Case acting like he's jumping over the goal line, why would you even put him in that position when you have a Hall of Fame running back on the bench, seething to get into the game? Seething to get into the game, wanting to get into the game, but because your ego and whatever reasons you think you know better than all of these other folks, which you haven't proven because your record speaks for itself. And I've said it before. I've said it on my show. I'm going to say it on here. Hashtag both Grutens are overrated. I've said it on my show, and I'm saying it tonight. I don't know if you heard me say it before. Both Grutens are overrated. Neither one of them have built the team to win. John piggyback Tony Dungy, got his championship.
Facts.
And he's done nothing else. He's not going to last 10 years in Oakland. He might not last 5 years in Oakland for the second time. And his son, you can might as well call him his son because he has less football knowledge than him. And the only reason he's in the league is because of his last name, which really isn't much. And he's an AFL coach at best. That's all he was. He was an offensive coordinator in Cincinnati with Marvin Lewis as a head coach. Do you think Marvin Lewis will let him throw the ball 65% of the time and run it 35? No, because I wrote an article and went through all of his plays, and it was a 55-45 pass run ratio in Cincinnati. So that tells me that Marvin was making him run the ball. We see what Jay does. He gets down 3 points in the second quarter. Oh, God, we got to throw the ball. We're behind. I don't understand that. That's the AFL mentality because they run the ball 4 times in the Arena League football, and they throw it like 40. So I think Jay is having flashbacks or whatever. He might have had a concussion in the Arena League. I don't know. But he's obviously in the wrong place, and once he does get his walking papers, I don't see any NFL team taking him as a coordinator or dare to even make him a head coach again in this league. I used to say Jim Zorn was one of the worst hires as a coach, and Steve Spurrier. At least Jim Zorn gave us the phrase "stay medium." I still use that to this day. Jay Gruden has given us nothing but headaches, heartaches, and that same deer in the headlight look. And the famous phrase when we lose, it kills me. I have to look at the film. But when we win, he's sitting there gloating with a smile on his face like he's about to go get a cheeseburger and a Happy Meal from McDonald's.
Your man walks into the press conference and goes, "You see that fade?
Yeah.
You see that fade? The one, folks, Jay Gruden is 1-8 with the fade pass. 1-8. You know what? 2-9 because Terry McLaurin caught one last week. Before that, he was 1-8 with the fade pass.
Proud of
he
that
was
one.
0 for 5. And people keep going, why you keep throwing the fade with Kirk Cousins who can't throw the fade and Deshaun Jackson who can't? Why you throwing the fade to your speedy back? That's just classic Jay Gruden. You know, let's throw a screen to the backup tight end and not to let's have the speedy receivers and the scat back block for the tight end. But but he comes into the press conference and goes, the first thing he says before he gets to the podium, "You like that fade?" And the reporters kind of laugh, and it never worked again. But that's Jay Gruden in a nutshell. And Jay's way has never worked. Just like he's done halftime adjustments one time. Whenever I talk about Jay's halftime adjustments, everybody goes, Tampa Bay, 2015.
Jesus Christ.
The same guys who didn't want to talk about 2012 and 2013 don't want to talk about, they want to talk about 2015 and 2019. Huh? What? Huh? What?
Wow,
What?
that
No,
one game.
He's got to go. And even those halftime adjustments. And I remember we were sitting in front page, rest in peace, front page,
yeah.
And Black GOP was right here.
Yes, sir.
And when They came out and ran the read option, the plays that Jay said he didn't want to call, and that was the reason he didn't want to play the other quarterback because read option was a bet. He came out running read option. I looked over GOP. I said, we're going to win this freaking game, and he's going to keep his freaking job. Because Jay Gruden was fired. Vince McMahon, he was done, gone. And he ran that read option, and Kirk came back, and he hit the "you like that." For those of you who are listening on iTunes, I got that "you like that" coming. I'm scrolling down forward. We've got God damn, Robbie.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff for it.
Hey, Robbie. I'm going to the soundboard. All right. I just went through like 3 pages of OGT. That's Robotron.
That's Robotron, and we added some stuff too.
There it is. There's the Sports on the Hill. Sports on the Hill. I'm still scrolling through Sports on the Hill stuff.
That's just what we do, man. That's just what we do. You got to hit the soundbite too. The famous "What I Love." Look at his face. That's my favorite of all time. The Jay Gruden.
I had to get down to the wires to "You Like That."
Yeah.
Jesus, I went through a lot. Now I got to go scroll back up for the hurt time. I got to scroll back up for Sophia.
Hey, man, that's how it is on the board, baby. We got a lot of good sound bites on here.
We're live, so these are all things we talk about off the air. We're talking about to you on camera.
Mm-hmm.
The division. We got to talk about it.
Yeah, we do.
The stars are aligned. Dallas Cow. My uncle's not here. Johnny's not here, is he?
No, it looks like we just my
Okay, cool. The Dallas Cowboys seem poised to win a division. Dak Prescott seems poised to break the bank. He's going to be the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. They're going to win a division. They're going to walk away with the division. And it's going to be some tough tunes from Cowboy fans.
Boy, oh boy.
Because honestly, I don't see anyone in the conference that looks as together as here. Dak Prescott looks so focused and so dialed in and so confident. I didn't know he was that good.
But you know the key for that? The second-year offensive coordinator, Kellen Clemens.
It's crazy what the coaching change can do.
Yeah, that man he's making it so easy for Dak. He's tailoring the playbook to his strengths. Oh, Jay Gruden. He's tailoring the playbook to his strengths. That man is out there playing high school ball, pitch and catch. He's out there just like in the Redskins game. He ran his own read one time, but for 45 yards at the crucial time of the game. He's rolling the pocket. He's hitting his receivers. They're crossing patterns. They're screens. You got the old Hall of Fame bound, should be in the wheelchair with a walker out there, Jason Witten, catching touchdowns on our linebackers that's basically almost half his age. Not because he's beating them with speed, he's beating them with technique and skill because the offensive coordinator knows what Witten's strengths are. He knows what Dak's strengths are, and he's coaching towards that. What do we get? We get pitches to Adrian Peterson. We get off-tackle runs with Chris Thompson. It just don't go. It's football 101, and Jay Gruden is football minus 101.
It's got a text that Colt McCoy's been named starter.
No, I saw Case Keenum was in the booth. They said that Colt took all the snaps, and now they're going to say they're going to announce him the starter on Wednesday. All righty.
Great decision, Jay. Colt McCoy has proven that he is a leader for your franchise, and he is the future. You know, I think it's just another great decision by Jay Gruden to do what's best for the team and put his ego aside. You know, we had been hearing rumors that he didn't like Dwayne Haskins, or he wasn't a fan and he wasn't giving him snaps. And why would you give your draft pick snaps? Why would you want to make him better? Honestly, I don't care. I don't want Jay to corrupt this kid.
I said the same thing.
I don't want his hands on him.
I don't want him to touch him. I've let Haskins sit on the bench. Everybody was talking about put him in the game on Monday. For what? For him to get murdered against that defensive line and Jay still doing 3- and 5-step drops without bootleg in the pocket, misdirection, a screen to your scat back instead of a screen to your tight end. You know, he could have did things to mitigate that pass rush that was basically pinning their ears back, and not by putting Jeremy Sprinkle to guard to block Khalil Mack or Vernon Davis.
We miss J.P. Holtz.
Oh, it's mind-boggling how much this guy gets away with. And I got to take my pot shot at the DC sports media because you guys are part of the reason why he still has a job. because you're not asking the tough questions.
Nope.
I've said, and I posted the article last week, going back 2 years ago when that man stood at the podium after losing to the Giants, which I think we're going to lose to them again because of our record against rookie quarterbacks and the way we play in New Jersey, and Jay Gruden being the coach. Those three things I don't think they're going to be overcome. I hope we do win, but I digress. But I go back to that game 2 years ago, the season, when that man stood there and said, I have regressed as a coach. And not one DC sports media has brought that up again in 2 years. They want to blame Minuski. They want to blame Bruce Allen, Daniel Snyder. They even want to blame the damn special teams coach before they blame Jay Gruden. And like I said, the one time I get in that room, I'm going to ask those tough questions. Y'all going to see me getting escorted out, and he might not answer, but I'm going to go viral getting dragged out of that room, telling Jay to answer the damn question. You can't handle the truth, Jay. You can't handle it.
Well, here's the thing. The DC media fell in love with Jay Gruden because he put that nigger in his place. I'm so sorry. Sorry, mama. The DC media fell in love with Jay Gruden because he sat RG3 down for no other reason than he was confident in himself, which you're supposed to be.
Especially as a quarterback.
You know, RG3 took us to prominence in 2012. 2013, he regressed. And that was it. Kirk Cousins took us to prominence in 2015. 2016, he regressed. 2017, he regressed. And everybody was still like, hey, you got to sign him. And no one wants to go back and say that Jay Gruden was wrong about anything. What they're basically saying is, you might as well just get rid of Jay Gruden just to show everybody that it's not Jay Gruden. Show us that it's not Jay Gruden.
Okay.
Show us that it's not Jay Gruden. And if you bring in somebody else who decides that they want to run the ball when they should pass the ball, they want to run up the middle with their scat back, they want to run to the outside with their power back, they want to throw running back and wide receiver screens to the backup tight end. If you bring in somebody else who does that, whoever brings that person in should be fired. I applaud Dan for not wanting to revisit the mistakes he made with Schottenheimer. I understand. He goes, you know what? I made a mistake with Schottenheimer. I won't make that mistake again. I'm going to give him time. Dan, everyone says don't meddle. This is the time to meddle. Get rid of him. And to be perfectly honest, at this point, as good as the drafts have been, I'd have Bruce go to get rid of Jay. I think Jay's going to go first. I think you try Kevin O'Connell. And then maybe at the end of the season, maybe you see him make a move with Bruce, where either Bruce steps all the way out of operations of football. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Bruce is like, yo, I'm just going to be in charge of getting the stadium to Virginia. And then other than that, you let Doug and Kyle and Eric handle the football operation. You let them handle the draft. Oh, and by the way, let's never forget, Doug Williams said he has to ask Jay Gruden to leave the room if they're drafting somebody he doesn't want. That's the guy you have running your team. A guy who has to leave the room if he doesn't get his way.
I remember you told me some of the stuff, behind the scenes stuff we really can't talk about because, whatever. And I would hear the rumblings and I was like, no, that can't be true. But once I heard it from you that, pretty much they're getting fed up with his antics and some of the stuff, him pouting and doing things detrimental to the team to prove a point were factual, I was pretty much done. That was the beginning of the end. I've been defending him, trying to be optimistic for the last, I say season and a half, because you guys know I'm not a Jay Gruden fan. I didn't like when we hired him. I didn't want him when he was here, and I definitely want him gone now. But you have to have some stability. That's why I feel the best move for this team, if they do fire him, when they do fire him, that you promote Bill Callahan, the head coach. Let O'Connell get his feet wet as the offensive coordinator. Get to know the guys, get a feel for it. Off season, we know they're probably not making the playoffs. Then that's when you go through your rebuilding or whatever you want to call it. Let O'Connell implement his offense, whatever he wants, because you don't want to change offenses, even though it hasn't been that effective in the middle of the season. The guys know the playbook. They know the plays. Just have somebody else calling the plays that actually has a football brain, and I think this team will be a lot more successful. And then, if they want to keep Callahan, because a lot of folks sleep on Bill Callahan, but Bill Callahan is a quality coach. I mentioned it before, his time in Nebraska, Oakland. We know what Oakland was at the time, but he still had one of the most potent offenses, rushing and passing. So that's what we need, an old school coach with an old school approach that's going to, let these guys play football and not want to be fancy coming out in a 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 running back formation when you got a madman on the other side that's just teeing off on your left guard that really, shouldn't be there because your your left tackle, when your left tackle that's supposed to be there isn't there because he wants you gone. So the writing's been on the wall for a while. Like you said, Snyder's probably, doesn't want to make the same mistake again. I kind of echoed that sentiment that he didn't want to make a knee-jerk reaction. He already has a bad reputation from the first impression when he came into the league, treating it like fantasy football, yada, 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 yada. But for the last 6 or 7 years, that man's done nothing but open his wallet and said, what do you need to win? So, Allen.
That's all he's done.
I'm one of the few people that don't have a problem with Bruce Allen. He's made some bad choices, but I feel like he's done more good than bad. Salary cap issues. And folks forget the name Vinny Cerrato. Exactly. Everyone blames Daniel Snyder, but the only reason I blame Daniel Snyder is for hiring Vinny Cerrato.
And maybe keeping him around
too long.
Just like this coach.
That's Danny's loyal. Sometimes to a fault. I know folks have heard that phrase, loyal to a fault. Yes, I think that's what it is. But I think Bill Callahan and Kevin O'Connell and then Greg Minuski, I don't know what to do about the defense. I'm speechless about it. Did you have any insights on why it's so vanilla? Why he's not mixing things up? Is he pulling the Jay Gruden?
I have no insights.
Jeez.
I have no insights on it other than what you're starting to see, folks. What you're starting to see is the same things that got DJ Swearinger cut are coming to fruition. It's like, yo, we're calling bad defenses. We're dropping back in zone. We should be man-to-man. We should be pressing. We should be up on them. The same people who are like, yeah, you have to get the distraction out of here. DJ Swearinger was the first one to say publicly, why are we 8 yards off the ball? And now I see it all the time. And instead of answering his question, they just go, hey, we got to get you out of here. All right, he's gone. Why are we 8 feet off the ball? Why are we 8 yards off the ball? It's 3rd and 5. We're 8 yards off the ball. We're going to wrap this up. And to be honest, as far as Greg Minuski, I have no insight. Earlier, and Seth mentioned this in the notes that he sent me, we saw that Dwayne Haskins took all of the Redskins stuff off of his Instagram.
Wow.
I think that's a nothing burger because he took off all Ohio State stuff off his Instagram also, but it's still on Twitter. But he can't be happy with Colt McCoy and his broken leg coming back. This is the second time this season that Jay Gruden has decided to start a unhealthy legged player instead of the obvious starter. And I think you see Dwayne Haskins, he can't afford to make him inactive this week. He's going to have to make Case Keenum inactive if Case Keenum is hurt. He can't afford to make him inactive. But Jay Gruden doesn't want what happened in the audience. What happened in the audience was they were cheering for Dwayne Haskins, even though he would have been a madman to put him in against Chicago. And for a second, I thought he was going to do it. For a second, I thought he was going to be spiteful. Like, yeah, let's put Dwayne out there. Let's do the Detroit preseason thing, and let's put him out there and just show everybody that he's not ready. But he didn't do it. And we just got to see what happens with the Giants. One of these days, Jay's going to win his way. He's going to win his way, and he's going to think that buys him more goodwill because Jay would rather lose his way than win the way you win football games, running the ball, controlling the clock, taking your shots vertically down the field. Jay would rather pass side to side, one shot vertical, side to side, punt the ball. He'd rather lose that way. We're going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody who watched this first ever fully live Hertz House. That banner's fly, right? Beautiful Bliss, stationery, and design. That's who you want to talk to if you want your banners, if you want your business cards, if you want your stickers, if you want your flyers, if you're throwing a party in D.C. and you don't want your flyers to look like trash to the point where no one shows up, holler at Nakia and make sure you also pay her. If you want your business cards, dual-sided, glossy, good stuff. You can get your Gambit on. See how that went? Oh, God, that came off good on camera. We're out of here. CP3, you got anything to say?
Tune in tomorrow night, Sports on the Hill podcast, 9 o'clock, talking boxing. Got Paul the boxing guy. He's been chomping at the bit. He hasn't been around. Got a lot of boxing news. Going to talk some more Redskins probably, talk a little bit of hockey. Definitely talk some Nats. They're playing right now. Philly look like it's tied 1-1. And talk about whatever else you want to talk about sports related.
Congratulations to the Washington Mystics.
That's what I forgot to bring up.
Congratulations to the Mystics congratulations to the Mystics for being the best team in DC right now.
Pretty much. Made it to the finals 2 years in a row.
You know what? It's not fair that we wait to the end of the show to get to them. And congratulations to the Nats for not only making the playoffs, but eliminating Bryce Harper at the same time.
That was beautiful.
What could be sweeter than that?
That was beautiful. Trey Turner with the grand slam in the 6th inning.
Oh, my goodness.
To take the lead, to knock the Phillies out of the playoff contention and secure their wild card berth. It's not over yet, but this team was 12 games under 500 at one point in the season. They're only the 9th team in MLB history to come back from more than 10 games now to make the playoffs. So we say on our show on Sports on the Hill that this adversity would, help them when they cakewalked through the NL East and was 12 games up and didn't have nothing to play for. Them out there fighting now, that might go a long way. So stay tuned. Hopefully you might be seeing some extended baseball this year.
I don't care about baseball. I care about DC sports. So congrats to the Nationals. Hopefully the Capitals can do it. We're going to be in a position soon where every team in DC is in the playoffs except for the guys that won't fire Jay Gruden.
Pretty much.
For those of you who are listening on iTunes, I'll catch you later. For those of you who are waiting for this show to pop up on iTunes, I have to add the audio, so it's going to take a little bit longer. It won't be tonight. It'll probably be tomorrow. I'm going to send Blog Talk Radio home. Oh, wait. Got some home with Sophia. See y'all later, iTunes. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate those of you. Wow, quite a few of you stuck through this whole 41 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it hurts us, baby. First time we've been on
next
here.
Week, we will not be doing the show on Wednesday because I will be attending the AEW first ever show in Washington, D.C., first ever televised show. So I'm going to look to do my show on Thursday, but I need to talk to Monique about that first.
I'm sure she'll be able
on everyone's lips.
I'm sure she'll be happy to.
Do we do a show about compromising on everyone's lips? A show about compromising with your partner?
I'm sure they have, and I'm sure she will be very.
Is she watching?
I think she did jump on for a little while.
I don't know if she caught that or not. All right, y'all. We'll be out of here. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, and I'm just going to stall until my man Moose comes over and hits the button because I don't want to get up, off this couch.
CP3, live from Martini's Hurt's house, Big Hurt, TRU Radio Network, and we out.